Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. The region mourns the passing of a true regional Calypso icon, the Black Stalin. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday, 30th December 2022. Details when we return.
Win prizes weekly with the Dutch Lady Christmas promotion. You can win hampers, kitchen appliances, and much more. Here's how to win. Visit our Facebook and Instagram pages weekly to retrieve the recipe. Follow the recipe. Submit the final dish via email at dlchristmaspromotion@gmail.com, along with proof of purchase of Dutch Lady UHT or 410 evaporated milk. Recipes will be judged based on the display. Winners will be selected each week to battle for the grand prize in a live cooking show hosted by the creative chef. Look out for the Dutch Lady Santa Claus at supermarkets island-wide. The promotion runs from November 16th to December 21st, 2022. And once again, we'd like to congratulate the winner of last year's Dutch Lady Christmas promotion, Miss Brianna Bihari. Dutch Lady Milk, proudly distributed by Hubbard's Agency.
Welcome back. A nation and region in mourning as news spread of the passing of iconic Calypsonian Leroy Black Stalin Caliste. The five-time Calypso monarch passed away at his San Fernando home in Trinidad at the age of 81. He had been ailing for some time. TV6's reporter Cindy Raghubartika Singh takes us back through just some of his contributions and achievements over the years.
Patriotic, iconic class composer Leroy Caliste, the Black Stalin, said goodbye to this world on Wednesday morning. At the age of 81, the Black Stalin leaves not only his family to mourn, but a nation by extension through his immense and indelible mark on the cultural landscape of Trinidad and Tobago. Starting out as a limbo dancer in the 1950s, Stalin entered the Calypso arena a few years later and would spend the next 60 years plus solidifying his footprint as one of the industry's pioneers. Stalin won the Calypso Monarch title 5 times in 1979, 1985, 1987, 1991, and 1995. He attained the Calypso King of the World title in 1999. He was awarded the National Hummingbird Medal Silver in 1987 and became Dr. Leroy Caliste in 2008 when he was conferred with an honorary doctorate from the University of the West Indies for his contribution to Calypso music and culture in TNT. In expressing condolences, the Trinbago Unified Calypsonians Organization, TUCO, said it was deeply saddened by Stalin's passing, noting that he was known for his militant Rastafarian and black nationalist lyrics. Acting Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Paula Gopi Skoon, says he was one of the nation's cultural icons whose impact transcended generations, geography, and social strata. Through his music, she adds, many could better appreciate the Calypso art form whilst simultaneously being educated and entertained.
But once my people keep fighting for equal share of the cake, wait, Dorothy, wait, Dorothy,
Most recently, he was recognized in his hometown of San Fernando when the city corporation renamed part of Lord Street in his name, a ceremony he was too sick to attend, but was represented and celebrated by his proud wife, Patsy. At that location today, Mayor of San Fernando, Junior Regrello, remembered Stalin as a man true to his roots, a patriot and person many should aim to emulate.
Advocacy for the black man and dignity and social injustice remains a standout in its contribution and its composition. This work will be left for researchers and students who are interested in the art form to study and to understand its contribution and the effort he made. Stalin not only was a Calypso singer, but also a composer, an art form that is probably become scarce, where people compose and are singing their own song.
At his home on Wednesday, relatives declined interviews but allowed our cameras to capture his trophy room, a mere glimpse of the impact the people's Calypsonian has left behind.
If I buy your feet to surrender, one little thing I want we all sing together. What?
We can make it if we try.
What?
Just a little harder.
If we just give one more try, life would be much sweeter.
Life would be more sweeter.
Love you, God.
Cindy Raghubatika Singh, TV6 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago says that Calypso legend Dr. Leroy Caliste, the Black Stalin, who died earlier on Wednesday, was a master of the Calypso art form. The opposition leader said the Black Stalin was a legendary son of the soil, and the acting culture minister said the Black Stalin was the undisputed people's Calypsonian. These were just some of the tributes being paid to Dr. Caliste on Wednesday. Other tributes have come from those in the Calypso and soca community. TV6's Jewel Brown reports.
On his Facebook page, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said the passing of the Black Stalin on Wednesday at the age of 81 leaves us poorer, but his rich legacy of poetic Calypso lyrics and haunting musical lines will all live on for our guidance and in his enduring memory, and that, quote, very few bards told our stories more effectively than the Black Stalin. He was a master, end quote. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar said in a statement that the Black Stalin was a legendary son of the soil and a true Caribbean giant who boldly spoke truth to power. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar further said that, quote, as our nation faces immense challenges such as high crime and unemployment, let us take inspiration from the genius of the legendary Black Stalin, end quote, before quoting the lyrics from her favorite Stalin song, we can make it if we try. The Culture Ministry recalled that the Black Stalin received the Hummingbird Medal Silver for Culture and, in 2008, Doctor of Letters from the University of the West Indies. Tributes were also paid to the Black Stalin on Instagram by soca artists Bunji Garlin and his wife Fay-Ann Lyons, as well as Charles Marshall. National Carnival Commission Chairman Winston Gypsy Peters also paid tribute while speaking with TV6 News on Wednesday.
He said to me at 10 years old, you're going to be one big Calypsonian. And he has been my friend since. He's been more like a brother than a friend to me. And his passing is one of the saddest things that I have to deal with right now. And in a general sense, in the fraternity, we are losing people, but basically by the hour, we just lose Explainer, Francine, now Stalin. I mean, losing Stalin, I want to extend my condolences to Patsy, the boys, and all the rest of the Caliste family.
Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
As the 5-year term of President Paula Mae Weeks draws to a close, the Electoral College has been preparing to select a new president. TTT News' Marie-Theresa Bernard spoke with political analyst Dr. Bishnu Raghunath, who explained the process for clarity.
The Electoral College, that is, members of the lower house and the Senate, is expected to convene on January 23rd of 2023 to elect the president who will serve for the next term. According to political analyst Dr. Bishnu Raghunath, the notice in the Gazette signals the start of the process.
The members of parliament, members of the elected members of parliament must nominate or has to nominate a person. There must be at least 12 elected members who must sign the nomination. So basically, because we're a two-party system, you could have at most 2 candidates. I mean, you could probably have 3 candidates, but I mean that one party will have to be split in 2.
President Paula May Weeks, TNT's 6th president and first female president, was sworn into office in March 2018. Then, President Weeks was the only candidate nominated and was deemed elected without the need for a vote. Dr. Raghunath said this is because the majority takes the win, with the prize in this case being the particular president chosen.
Once you have the nominations that are certified, at least 12 members, then it goes to the Electoral College. The Electoral College is both the members of the lower house and the members of the Senate. So that's the 41 plus the 51. The Parliament will then vote. But bearing in mind that the government already has a majority because the government has 20 seats in the lower house plus the 16 in the upper house, that will give them 58. So they already have a majority. Clearly, whoever the government wants, the government will get.
Dr. Raghunath said this represents the case which has been made for constitutional change, as the president is not seen as independent of the ruling party. Marie-Theresa Bernard, TTT News.
Over in Jamaica, entire parishes under state of emergency as that country grapples with climbing crime rates.
The states of public emergency have been imposed for the second time this month. The declaration of the enhanced security measures comes on the heels of its expiration last week after 14 days and the opposition's objection to its usage.
This morning at midnight, His Excellency, the Governor General, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, declared 2 states of public emergency. One in the entire parishes of St. Anne, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew. And the second, this is now in the entire parishes of St. James, Westmoreland, and Hanover.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness argues that the use of the SOE is justified while alluding to the country's murder figure. Additionally, preliminary police statistics show that the murders for December is down by about 50% compared to the similar period last year. But there is still a concern.
The threat levels for ongoing gang conflicts, contract killings, organized robberies of businesses, hijacking of goods in transit, and various confidence scams that lead ultimately to the loss of life, spreading of fear, and depriving entire communities of their freedom to pursue their business and happiness. That threat level remains elevated and extensive in scale.
Meanwhile, the country's murder tally up to this morning stood at 1,481. That's just about 1% above the corresponding figures last year. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson gave the figures at this morning's press briefing.
So we've managed to do quite a bit. We know yesterday we had none. And so there have been, in that period, particularly during when we had declared the state of emergency, there were a number of 0 days, which of course is a significant relief even to our investigators who are not getting another file, but just a relief to the country in general when we get a day like that. This month we are tracking probably around 50% of what it was last year for December.
The Food Fair Shop and Win promotion is back, better than ever. We are giving away $30,000 in prizes with the promotional activities you know and love, like find the misplaced items, spin the wheel, and other exciting in-store activities. You can win hams, turkeys, vouchers, cooking gas from Saul, and lunch packages from the Creative Chef. The promotion runs from November 16th to December 23rd, 2022. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.